Hi everyone, Internet BCS Book Reader here. Today I want to talk about Dragon Palace by Hiromi Kawakami. Hiromi Kawakami is a veteran in Japanese literature. I've seen a few of her other works in bookstores like the Nakano Thrift Store and Strange Weather in Tokyo, usually in pair. I haven't really had the chance to check them out yet, but if they are anywhere near the stories in Dragon Palace, I definitely need to check them out someday because I've been missing out. The stories in this book is surreal and chock full of allegories and symbolism that is very Kafkaesque and can be interpreted in many ways. The Metamorphosis, as an example of Kafka's work, is a story where the main character one day turns into a giant cockroach. It's a short novella that even until today there's still many interpretations on how to read the story. From merely a weird story about someone who turned into a cockroach and how the family deal with him, or maybe the weirder part of the story is the guy turns into a cockroach, but the first thing he thought of is how will he go to work today? There are many ways to interpret Kafka's work, and that's also the case with this book. Today's book, Dragon Palace, is Hiromi Kawakami's latest collection of short stories. And as usual with short story collections, Dragon Palace itself is the title of the second story here. But first, we'll go through the first story that involves the octopus in the cover of the book. Hokusai opens up with the main character who is taking a walk in the beach when a guy suddenly approached him and told him to be careful of the waves. He then asked if the main character had money or not, then asked to be treated since he had no money. Since he didn't say no, then they go to a place where there's 3 stories called Minami with different kanji: south, beautiful, and ordinary. They went to the Minami bar that means south, and while in the bar, the strangers open up that he's actually an octopus that has become humans. In fact, he's the octopus that was in Hokusai's dream of a fisherman wife that I cannot show here since it's an erotic picture. Then he started changing shapes. The story went on with the octopus man bringing him to different places, teaching him random things about women, even chased after one with bad intentions. The story ends with the octopus gone and the main character also becomes some kind of a shapeshifter. This story can be about someone meeting an octopus shapeshifter in a beach and turning into one himself, or a warning that maybe don't trust someone who introduced himself with a Joker quote, don't trust someone that you've made sure with another person not to be trusted, don't trust someone who's teaching you to chase after a woman who ran away from you, or if you ignore all this warning and say nothing for yourself like the main character, you might lose your self-identity and also turns into an octopus. In Dragon Palace, a woman was visited by her dead great-great-grandmother, Ito. When Ito was a girl, she was taken away by strangers, separated from her family because she said nonsensical things that people like. People made cult out of her, she was turned into an object of worship, she wasn't treated like human and nobody teach her anything. She ran away from the cult by performing Street Fighter Tatsumaki until none of her followers can find her. The story alternates between the main character taking care of Ito and Ito's past after getting away from the cult. In a way, it's a story about abandonment and about finally finding love and human connection. In Fox Den, a caretaker becomes closer to an old man who looks like a fox, who sometimes howls for no reason, and who like to eat inari named Shota. The caretaker and Shota eventually had some kind of romantic feelings in the story. They even talk about things like old turds. But it's also a story about the fear of getting old and crumbling to dust, like old turds left behind. There are much about mortality and fear of losing someone here. At the end of the story, Shota, who looks like a fox, turned into a locust. There's Kitchen God about a housewife that had a kitchen god living under her refrigerator while her neighbors all have a squirrel issue. Then there's Mole, a story about a mole who lives in human world, going to the office, digging hole, befriending homeless, taking unstable humans back home underground, etc. Then there's Roar, a story about a boy who was raised by his 7 sisters for each period of his life. He was raised by his first sister, got married to the 6th sister, and died from old age along with the 7th sister. Shimazaki is set in a world where age works differently. It's about an old woman who falls in love with her more than 400 years old ancestor. Then the last story, Seahorse, is about a seahorse who turns into a woman after being captured, then live her life being passed from husband to husband. As you can imagine from hearing the synopsis that I just gave you, the stories all have some weirdness to them. It can make you feel drunk from how surreal they are. They also have a folktale quality to it, maybe because of all the animals noted from the story, from octopus, fox, mole, seahorse, etc. They kinda reminds me of classic stories like Urashima Taro, about the guy who was taken by a turtle to the Dragon Palace, For Momotaro, that is about a boy who formed companionship with a dog, a monkey, and a bird to go slay demons. They gave a lot of the story a certain cultural depth to them. Because beside the folk tales I mentioned above, in Japan itself, kitchen god and fox are considered deity in some places, not to mention the yokai stories there that involve demons-like animals. And then this part is definitely more of my fault for how I'm reading them in quick succession and having to analyze them for this review during those quick succession. Since all of them needs you to read between the lines and they cannot be taken too literally, reading them can be draining as you need to figure out what each moment means. Of course, as is the case with any stories with this genre, there is a risk of trying to read too much into the story, like finding meaning where there are none. There's also some difficulty in digging deeper into the story because of cultural differences. For example, with the Minami stores during the first story Hokusai, the three different meanings of the Minami stores, which are short, beautiful, and ordinary, might have some significance to the story, but they also might be just something the author add for no reason whatsoever. I'm not from Japan, so I had no idea if the story about a guy who lost himself because of following a suspicious octopus teaching have anything to do with the three Minamis. But again, it might just be nothing, as I said. The story can also really sap your concentration since you have to question every interaction and dig for deeper meaning in the story. But if you read them slowly, one at a time, I think it should be fine. They're really well written for such weird stories. Honestly, some of them are so weird that I think people who enjoy creepypasta might enjoy some of the story here. For example, in the Dragon Palace, Ito, the great-great-grandmother who is a victim of abandonment, actually does have some supernatural power in the story that makes the story more nonsensical in a good way. Of course, the theme is also not very clear since there are ambiguity in the story. Nothing has explicit detail on them that tells you about what the story is about or who the characters are. You are only getting crumbs of who they are as a character through their action and interaction during the shortness of their stories, so they always felt a little hazy. But they do have some similarities, so the more you read, the easier it is to get to know the theme. There is a fear of isolation that can be felt from much of the characters here. The characters have deep loneliness inside each of them that came out in different ways that are unhealthy. Following someone's teaching unquestionably that you lost your self-identity in other people's teaching, being possessive about someone else, trying to ignore all the things that you should be responsible for because it's uncomfortable to think about them, staying with people who are not good for you just because you fear that the alternative is being alone. All of these have different kinds of unhealthy human connection, and they are conveyed ambiguously through the stories in the book. I think it's great reading even if you kinda have to squish your brain a little bit while reading them. And also my review of them is basically my own interpretation of these stories. And when you read them, you might read them in a different way than mine and find different meaning in the stories. It is those kind of stories after all. It can feel a bit repetitive because the stories have some similar vibe as each other, but other than that, it's a solid collection of short stories. I give this a 3.5. What do you think? Are you gonna read it? Did I miss anything? Leave your thoughts in the comment below and subscribe to the channel. That's about it.